My name's Ivonne Durant, and I'm your Chief Academic Officer, which means everything academic is part of where we are going and part of what we are. In other words, our academic department has but one purpose in life, and that is to support you, our teachers. That's the only reason that we exist. So this afternoon, I thought I would take just a couple of minutes to first of all, thank each and every one of you for choosing the best school district in the world. And secondly, give you just a little bit of a roadmap of what it is to have the support of teaching and learning in the Dallas Independent School District. So these are not just glamour shots, folks. This team that you see behind me is the leadership team for teaching and learning. So everything that is teaching and learning is right behind me, and everything that is teaching and learning is ready, willing, and able to support you. How many of you went through your content training this last week? Raise your hand. You went through any kind of content training. All right. So that was all brought to you by teaching and learning. So everything teaching and learning was there. As you can see on the left-hand side, you might just be part of one of those teams that are mentioned there. The first two shots are, of course, myself and then Dr. Mouton, our Deputy Chief Academic Officer. The third person there, now that's really a glamour shot. That's Mr. Little. That's Derek Little. And Mr. Little is our Assistant Superintendent for Early Learning. So if you're a pre-K teacher, where are you pre-K teachers? Let's take a big, let's hear from you. Come on, pre-K. Yeah, we really hired, we have one of the biggest pre-K programs in the world right now because of where we are right now in serving 3- and 4-year-olds, and we're still opening brand new sites. So Mr. Little is the assistant superintendent, everything having to do with pre-K, K, first and second grade. Right next to him is Shannon Trejo. Shannon Trejo has been with us for 11 months. How many of you were able to preview curriculum? How many of you had a shot at the curriculum? Let's raise your hand. Let me see how many of you saw. Mrs. Trejo has been here 11 months, and in 11 months, Mrs. Trejo was able to put together one of the most comprehensive programs I've ever seen in my life. Mrs. Trejo is responsible for bilingual ESL, dual language, dyslexia, reading language arts, social studies, and MTSS, or response to intervention. So if you belong to one of those groups, if you're a bilingual ESL teacher, a dual language teacher, a dyslexia teacher, reading language arts teacher, social studies, raise your hand, please. Raise your hand. Look at this. Wow. We have right now the most comprehensive dyslexia program of any school district in Texas. So when we say you've joined an urban district that offers services to their students, we're not just kidding. We're not just doing the minimum. We're doing the maximum. In fact, we're still hiring teachers. We're hiring 20 more middle school dyslexia teachers. So if you have friends who would like to join you here in Dallas, get the word out because we are still hiring our teachers. So Mrs. Trejo has a huge, enormous job, and she's also one of our assistant superintendents and doing a fantastic job. In her 11 months, I've never seen anything as comprehensive and well-designed as the curriculum that Dallas has. Right next to Mrs. Trejo is Oswaldo Alvarenga. Oswaldo is our executive director for everything that is STEM, everything that is in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This morning, Dr. Hinojosa alluded to our robotics team. We have one of the greatest expos in robotics in the city, and that it's gotten so large that we moved it to the convention center. Our math right now, our math and science is one of the top scores in the state. So if you're a math, science, technology teacher, let me see your hands. Let me see you. Wow. Well, you've joined a team of elite teachers. I know there was an algebra teacher somewhere over there in that corner. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to that elite club. At the very bottom, to the far left, is Tanya Brown. Mrs. Brown leads the special education department. Anybody here teaching special education? Let's hear it for SPED. Come on, guys. Every year, every single year, I hear our largest number of teachers are special education. And you know, this year we hired almost 1,000 teachers. So within that almost 1,000 teachers, they weren't all special education, but a good number of them are, and we're still working on that number. The next person there is that debonair young man, Tim Lindley. Tim is visual and performing arts. And if you're visual and performing arts, let's hear from you. Oh my God, visual and performing arts has really hit an all-time high. You know, I've been back, I had left the district, I came back, and Dr. Hinojosa told me the other day, wow, when I left, those marching bands at the football games, because he goes to the football games. So if you go to a football game, look for the man with the mustache, Big Daddy. So Big Papa. Big Papa loves to go to football games. He said, you know, those bands were a little raggedy. He says, but my gosh, we came back, and the bands now are just incredible. So watch out for our visual and performing arts. Thank you for hearing from you. Advanced academics is our next gentleman, and that's Mitch Morgan. Mitch, I'm happy to say, has all of the AP courses. Anybody here teaching AP this year? Great, because we are in need of brand new AP teachers. Welcome to Dallas, AP teachers. How about elementary gifted and talented? Well, let's hear it from the gifted and talented team. You know, as the day wore on, I think the energy level just kind of went down. By the end, we're gonna really get a round of applause here for the teams, because, folks, this is the one time that you can stand and be applauded. After today, you're going to find that you're on the other side of the equation. So, Mitch Morgan has a team of gifted and talented advanced academics, and part of that team is also the groups that go out to your schools and really help you with the AVID program. So if you have AVID programs in your school, Mitch Morgan and his team will be out there to support you. A lady that just joined us 2 months ago, and I can't believe that the next lady here, her name is also Shannon, that's Dr. Shannon Terry. And Dr. Terry is in charge of all of our professional development. She's professional development in digital learning. Additionally, she's in charge of the librarians. And the librarians this year, Library and Media Services has really undergone a big change, and we expect even more changes with Library and Media Services. Last but not least, I think this is a name that brand new teachers, I know as a brand new teacher, I would have really liked to have known this person. Juani Gaitan Valdespino is the last person on my right. Juani is in charge of all of the counselors and social emotional learning. She has a team of experts on her staff if you have severe discipline problems, if you have problems that really are beyond the scope of even the folks at your school, because we have what we call SEL, or Social Emotional Learning Champions. We have them at every single campus. So if it's something even beyond that, ask them to call Juani. Juani Gaitan Valdespino is her team of experts will be there to support you. So Power of 10. How is it that this Power of 10 was able to come together? I've been back a little over a year, in fact, a year and a month. And in this year and a month, we put together a new curriculum. We've brought you the training that you received, and you will continue to receive training. By the way, if you're part of the science, math, social studies, or reading language arts, you will have available to you training every 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks. So your curriculum is divided into 6 weeks at a time. And right before that 6 weeks, you'll have something called SWAG, and that's 6 weeks at a glance. So you'll be able to come in, receive training, receive information on what the next 6 weeks will be about. how it is, what things are you going to be tackling that next 6 weeks, what areas would you need further support in. So know that we're that close, we're that with you. It's not a one and done deal. You're going to continue to hear from us. You'll continue to get emails from us, flyers from us, because we want you to keep reaching back to us for the support that we can give you. And the way that we were able to do that is very soon as we became a team, we began with two things that were really, really important to us. And those were the two things that as a teacher, as a principal, as an area superintendent, and now as your chief academic officer, the two things that really helped us in that respect was collaboration and communication. We kept it really, really, really simple. You begin to see the collaboration. For example, the English language learner students that were in special education, the two programs never spoke to each other. Now we have something called SPED Ed for the doubly described students. The gifted and talented English language learners. This morning, Dr. Hinojosa talked about the number of English language learners that we have. In our district, we have more English language learners than most district size are. We have about 62,000 English language learners from pre-K through 12. So we also have gifted and talented programs for them. In fact, we're opening a brand new gifted and talented academy. These are the items, these are the areas that we have support for you. We have support for you in the two things that the three things that would matter most for you. In your curriculum, what is it that you're supposed to be teaching? In your delivery of your curriculum, how is it that you're going to be teaching it? Because we have coaches out there that will help you with this delivery of services. And then the third thing is, how do I handle that emotional piece, that discipline piece in the classroom? Folks, don't let it get out of control. We have plenty of help. We have people that can go out to your classrooms, that can sit with you, that can guide you through the process. Dr. Hinojosa mentioned two things this morning. He mentioned a lot of things, but the two things that I heard very loud and clear was reach out for help. You can't do it alone. None of us can do it alone. You can suffer alone, but you can be successful with somebody else. And that's the collaborative piece. We want to collaborate with each one of you. We want to support you, and that's what we're here to do. So in closing, I'd like to just remind you that we're really we have a teaching and learning website. So as you get into the Dallas ISD, as you navigate inside the website, you go to the teaching and learning, and there we'll have updates for you. As a matter of fact, as you sign up for your curriculum pieces to get your curriculum from the website, if you sign up for that, you'll be getting emails with any updates that you'll be needing. So we've tried to cover as many bases as we could, and if we have not covered the bases that we need to cover, I'd like to hear from you. gdurant@dallasisd.org. So my email is gdurant@dallasisd.org. If we haven't covered the bases, if there was something that I mentioned this afternoon that you still didn't quite understand, email me, and I'll have somebody from the staff get back to you and give you the answers. You're too important to us not to get back to you. You're way too important to us for us not to be in touch with you and giving you the support that you need. Because that's one thing that I promised myself my first year teaching 40-some years ago, that I was never going to forget what it was to be a first-year teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you, I appreciate you, and I thank you with all my heart for having chosen the best school district ever. Thank you, and have a successful year. Thank you so much.